We are Rob and Aaron. We're from Daydreamers Consulting. And this weekend, you may have seen on our Facebook page, we did a little experiment. It was a tour of breweries, which was a cool experiment because it was all about beer, which Rob really loves.
Oh, definitely.
And we went up to Essex, Vermont. We stayed at a really cool resort called the Essex. It's a culinary resort, so there's all kinds of food and drink and experiences around that. Anyway, we went around to these different breweries. We did short little clips in front of 4 different breweries because we're starting a new series called If They Were Our Client. And the point of this is to look at some small companies that we really like,
Right.
that we think could benefit from help like ours. Not because they're doing anything wrong, just because it's kind of it's cool for us just thinking about the business, right? To be thinking about, when we go into a business of any kind, what can we do for them? What would we do if they were our client? So we went to First Republic Brewery. They're gonna be our first little test case. They don't even know this, so I hope that we're not offending anybody. We're not trying to. We're only trying to be helpful and interesting. So what did you think at First Republic Brewery? What was like your first impression?
Overall, it was a nice atmosphere. They made it inviting. They had couches and chairs and games for people to play while
I
they
like
were
the
chilling.
games. Yeah.
And the bartender was very talkative. He told you about different stories about the brewery. We brought a lot of memorabilia back, or souvenirs,
Yeah.
I'd say, from there.
Glasses.
One of the guys himself made flight boards, made them out of the States, so it was very inviting, good to know, very informative.
Also, it turns out the guy behind the bar is the father of one of the founders of the brewery, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
He knew all about, how it's, he's like, well, when my son started this in his garage back in 2013. Anyway, we had a good conversation with him.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. And I liked the beer. I'm not a huge beer drinker, so this was really more for Rob.
Yeah.
This was one of his Christmas gifts from me.
Another thing I noticed with them is that they had product for people to brew. So they're not saying just buy our brewery.
I thought that was really interesting. I'm going to come back to that. Yeah.
Buy a brew, and then I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm very busybody, and I noticed the guy at the register was very informative of the products they had, and there was a guy talking to him, and he was telling him how to do that. So that's good that they had the knowledge there.
Local, that was a strong vibe that they had. And I interacted with the guy at the register a little bit. Nice conversation. I agree. He seemed like he really, I assume he's one of the brewers. I assume he definitely knew what he was talking about. So First Republic is definitely small. They only started in 2013. But we've also been to Night Shift Brewery here around Everett, Mass, and they're only about the same age. They're also only from about 2013, and we actually had Rob's 40th birthday party at Night Shift. Yeah. And so we know that there are opportunities for a brewery to host parties, get people gathering, do tours. That's a really common thing, obviously, for breweries. And First Republic doesn't look like they're set up for tours, but that's obviously something that people are always interested in. Right. And I think the key for them, as for anybody really, but they have very stiff competition. One of the things that the bartender mentioned was that in a 1 mile radius, there are 20 breweries.
10-mile radius.
Or a 10-mile radius, there are over 20 breweries, microbreweries. So obviously there's huge competition.
Oh yeah.
And that's what we noticed going around. We went to Switchback and Fiddlehead and Magic Hat.
Yes.
In addition to First Republic. What did you notice at some of those breweries?
When in First Republic, it was slow, and all the other breweries we went to were busy. So whereas the First Republic only had 1 bartender, 1 cashier on, and which was perfect for the crowd that they had. Whereas we walked into the other breweries and they were slammed, and you couldn't really do the one-on-one with them to find out about their brews and different things because they were so busy. They needed all hands on deck to do the pours for tastings and samples. And
so that's an advantage that First Republic has.
Yes.
because they're not so big, they're not so busy, they can interact with you more.
Right.
That's good.
But he did say they do get typically busy on Saturdays.
Sure, well, yeah, sure. I'm not saying they're
But I'm
never
sure
busy.
that they have more help on when that's the case.
That's why I said I wanted to go back to the home brewing thing. I think that's something very unique
Yes.
to them, that they could be playing up this idea of not just we're brewers, but we want to help you become a brewer.
Right.
You know, I noticed Magic Hat and Switchback both sponsor a lot of things
Yes.
around their towns, and you know, if they did a competition, if First Republic did like a competition for up and coming brew, or
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
an idea. They may do that already, we don't know, but it's something that is a great idea for them to like have home brewers do that and then bring it in, and if First Republic likes it, maybe take that on as one of their brews,
yeah,
and then
or like help that person
get going.
like
better,
learn, learn the trade, like
teach them a
get-
class, do a class in there.
yeah, that too, classes, because they're already partnered with the Essex
Yeah.
that does a lot of classes. They actually worked with the Essex to develop an Essex brew, which we got to taste at the hotel. So obviously they're open to those kind of partnerships and so forth. So I think those are their strengths, or the partnerships they already have,
Right.
as well as their investment in the home brewing community. You know, that connection. I did see on their Instagram they are the largest home brewing store in Vermont,
Who is?
First
Oh,
Republic.
okay.
So yeah, they already have that as a strength.
That's good.
The other thing I would recommend for them would be to get in touch with us for more tips. Or any of you, get in touch with us for more help. Anyway,
Help
that's
with
our,
social media if that becomes the case. You know,
right, yeah.
Things like that.
Or events that, you know, you want to get going, get off the ground. So anyway, this is the first of, if they were our client, we will pick another company, another activity, or
Oh, sorry.
Rob just got off a shift, sorry. We'll pick somebody else soon, and
Yeah.
we'll do another one.
Or if you want us to come to your business and just do
True.
like a secret shop, we'll do that, probably free of charge, just to do a secret shop and see if there's anything we can pick and pull out of it, or help you, or tell you what you're doing right. So
Excellent.
reach out.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.